everybody and welcome to Lovebird Lane Makes. We're in a different position today. We're up in my craft room because I need to get this done really quickly because I've put it off for a couple of days and I need to do this week's update. Hello, I'm Julieanne, by the way. I haven't been feeling very well this week. I've had a rough couple days so far and today I've woken up with a big sinus headache and I really should probably go and flush my sinuses. So that is on the list of things to do today because usually that does help when I have sinus pain. So I need to do that. I haven't done that yet. I've not long had my coffee, so I'm just kind of waking up. I'm in a bit of pain. I have had some painkillers, so bear with me if I seem a little bit less than my usual self today. But yeah, it's been a bit of a rough week, but I haven't actually got a whole lot to talk about today, so I'm probably going to try and whip through this pretty quickly just for my sake and probably yours because it's probably not going to be the best viewing experience. But yeah, let's get on with it. I have a finished item and then I've got some whips to share. So without further ado, let's just get on with it. All right, so I shared these last week. These are my socks. I did finish my socks. So my 6-ply boot socks are finished, and this was Opal Rainforest Range yarn in the Petite Emily, I believe it was called. So that was the colour of that yarn. I did say last week that I had hoped I would have a pair of like shorty bed socks today as well, but I don't have enough yarn. I ended up using, I think, 96 grams of yarn in this pair of socks. I do tend to do quite a long leg, so that's probably where some of the yarn went. I do have the shorty socks, or at least the one that I started, so I'll grab it and I'll show you, and then I'll show you what the yarn that I have left is. So this is partly an FO and partly a WIP, but I don't know that I'm going to finish the WIP. So I basically just did a very short cuff with what I had left. Let me get that out of the way. So it's just a very short cuff straight into a fish lips kiss heel, and then I was working on the foot. And I have relatively big feet. You probably can see I'm a size 9-ish, 9 to 10, depending on what style of the shoe I am wearing. So you can see, like, holding up the shorty sock over the top of the other sock, there's a fair amount that I need before I start the toe decreases, and all I have, that's half of the ball left. So what I basically did is I weighed it out. You can see that. Can you see that knot there? I made a little knot. So that is the halfway point of this leftover yarn. And I will not, I mean, it's highly unlikely that little tiny bit of yarn is going to be enough for me to finish the shorty sock. And I don't really know what I would do with the small amount of leftovers that I have of this ball of yarn. If it had been a full ball, like I mentioned last week, it was 142 grams. So like some of the yarn had actually been used out of this ball. If I had the full 150 grams, I would likely be able to make these socks no problem. But because the ball was slightly short, I'm not going to be able to get my shorty socks. But I'm thinking what I will do is just continue and finish these socks, make the shorty socks. They won't fit me, and I figure just to get this yarn used, I would just finish them and find a foot to fit them. I'll just give them to somebody else. And they can have some shorty socks. So that's my plan for that. I've been thinking about it all week. I don't know. I haven't quite known what I wanted to do with it. So I haven't continued to finish those socks. But I think my plan is a good plan. We'll just find a foot that fits these socks and finish them off, and then at least this yarn is used and out of my stash because we know I don't need to add any more yarn to my stash. Yeah, I think that's probably going to be the best plan of attack for that. So that was those socks. And while we're on the topic of socks, I thought I would show you another pair that I have been working on and off. These have been on the needles for a fair while now, and that I basically cast these on to use up some scraps. So these are the, what's it called? Dreaming of Paris? I think it's the Dreaming of Paris socks by Henley Beach. I have knit these before. This is my second, it could actually even be my third pair, because I think I might have made a pair for my mother-in-law. But yeah, this is using some of my yarns. This is Lovebird Lane yarns. I cannot remember the colorways though. I know this one was definitely Summertime Spritz from my the Taylor Swift sock sets that I did last year after the release of Life of a Showgirl. And this could be Nuri in June, I think, is what the contrast color here is. So that they were just striped together, Summertime Spritz on the toe, Nuri in June on the heel. Sorry if my camera is casting a shadow. I can't really help that, the window's in front of me, so it's the best light in the house at this time of day, so that is why I'm up here. And so I cast on the second pair and I ran out of Nuri in June, which I probably assumed that I would, but I got through the cuff because he's a top down, and I got to, is it around there? Where did I start the, yeah, I reckon it's about there, where I've swapped to another one of my Taylor Swift colorways. This was mahogany grain, so I had that left over from my socks as well. I'll likely have enough of the Summertime Spritz to finish. It's only a small ball left, but yes, I have added mahogany grain to this one as well. So I've been slowly working on these, but it has been a long time between knitting on these, and I'm a bit unsure how I worked out and put in the heel. This again is the Fish Lips Kiss heel. You'll probably recognise it if you're familiar with the pattern. The original Henley Beach's pattern uses a heel flap, whereas I've just put a Fish Lips Kiss heel in. So I need to count my rounds and try and, because I'm using helical knitting as well, I'm not swapping the yarn at the same spot all the way up, because I don't like the look of that. I always end up with ladders, and so I prefer to do helical knitting, which is what I'm doing. So I'm going to have to figure out how to stop my alternating at the right spot to be able to put in my Fish Lips Kiss heel. So that's the next thing I need to figure out. And it's like, it's just a little bit beyond me at the moment. So I haven't been working a ton on these. I've just been doing a little bit on and off, and I'm sure they'll get finished at some point. Who ever knows with me, because I chop and change my projects all the time. And I have one more thing to share, and then we will wrap this guy up. Okay, I have finished the body on my Mia sweater, and we talked about this last week, and I have finished the body now. I have obviously a ball of yarn still attached because I have started a sleeve. So where is my little unicorn guy? He's there. So that's the back. So we'll put the back towards me and we'll have the front towards you. So body is done. Down at the bottom, you end up doing quite a lot of the, I'm assuming it's called broken, I thought maybe it's called broken rib. Is that when you do a round of knitting in between? I haven't Googled it, but I had a sudden brainwave the other day. I'm like, is it called broken rib? It could be broken rib. So like I said last week, there is that pattern that continues down under the underarms, but then there was stockinette on the body, if you see there. But then once you get down to the bottom, you start doing the same purl 1 knit 3 ribbing on there, and then at the very bottom you did, it called for 2 rounds of twisted rib. So you twist both the knit and the purls, so it's just a 1x1 twisted rib. And then I just did a sewn bind off, and it's the Italian sewn bind off, so it's kind of like a tubular bind off, but you don't have to use 2 needles, which I really like. Makes it a little bit easier to manage. yeah, so you don't need to have the 2 needles and you don't graft, you just kind of go backwards and forwards. And I guess in the end it does give the same effect as grafting. But yeah, so the body is complete. And last night, because I finally finished, I think it's taken me since Sunday to cast off the body stitches, because it gets pretty boring after a while when you've got this giant long piece of yarn, because you need to have like 5 times the width, like the circumference of your body of the sweater. So it's this big long piece of yarn, and it gets really tiring and boring after a while, just like dragging this giant piece of yarn through your knitting, cast off those stitches. So I've been doing it in little bites through the last 3 days. I'm glad it's done, because I will do the same bind off on the sleeves, but of course you're not going to have as much circumference on the sleeves, so it's going to be a little bit quicker. But yeah, basically the sleeves are just continued. The entire sleeve is in that rib pattern, what I'm calling broken rib pattern. So that will be the whole way down, and there's no decreases until the very cuff, I believe. So it's a bit of a balloon. It's not big, but it'll give that kind of what do you call it? My brain doesn't want to work today. It'll give you kind of that voluminous little cuff portion before you do any of the ribbing. But yeah, I've been doing a bit on this morning. I actually got quite a bit done, because I think I only just cast on a little bit last night. So I've done probably a good 5 centimeters or so this morning, just trying to sit and relax and hoping that my head will clear a little bit. But that is all I've been working on this week. I have been pretty busy getting some stuff prepared for my shop update for next week. I've got a bunch of self-striping that will be going up in that update. And then I've just been playing a bunch of Animal Crossing, because that's all I've been able to stretch to really the last couple of days. So yeah, that is pretty much it. I think today I'm just going to get this edited, get it uploaded, and go flush my nose and see if I can try and get this pain to go away so that I can get some stuff done. I was actually quite pleased with myself that I did do my makeup today, all for me to record this for 15 minutes. But you know, I guess I'll look pretty for the rest of the day, right? Anyway, I think I will wrap it up there. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you to everybody who commented. I do need to get back to you on all the comments on my last 2 videos. I have read most of them, but I haven't had a chance to reply yet, but I have seen them. Thank you so much for getting in touch. Let me know what you're working on down in the comments. Questions, comments, pop them down there. Links will be in the description, as per usual. And that is it for this week. I will catch you all next week. Take care of yourselves and happy crafting. Bye.